Welcome back to Studio 122. I'm Cheney, and this week we're talking about Halloween and scary movies. But before we do that, we're going to go to Studio 122 correspondent Janelle Taylor and talk about things that happened last week on campus.
Homecoming 2015 at Texas A&M Commerce is a washout, but the Lions volleyball team took advantage of the canceled tailgating. There was a record attendance as the ladies took on West Texas A&M. The Lions swept the Lady Buffs 3-0, and in between the matches, they announced the 2015 Homecoming King, Raylius Johnson, and the Homecoming Queen, Brittany Washington. I'm Janelle Taylor, KETV, Main Media News. The G Library at Texas A&M University Commerce unveiled new additions to their tech library with the Novation Launchpad S with Ableton Live for the audiovisual room. Students and faculty can create a 3D dimensional object with the Polyprinter 229 3D printer. The cost is low and is determined by the weight of the object. And for the outdoor enthusiasts, they can check out a GoPro camera for 3 days for an outdoor adventurous weekend. You can also receive the virtual reality experience with the new Z-Space VR system. The 3D glasses and the stylus pen allows you to view and move objects in 3D. All these items will be ready for use November 3rd in the library. I'm Janelle Taylor, KETV, Main Media News.
I don't know about you, but I think that is so cool. That is awesome. Well, now for my personal favorite part about Halloween, movies, scary movies. Welcome. We have Whitney McIntosh and Javier Morente to talk about movies with us. Can y'all tell me y'all's favorite Halloween movies and why?
My favorite is Scream 2 because I like a horror movie that makes you think. So.
What about you, Javier?
Mine would be another 2, The Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. It's kind of borderline the line of like a goofy action movie, but it's still got those horror elements that are really, really good and some really good practical effects.
Okay, so that kind of answers one of my questions. I was going to ask you what you think about series movies, or if you think they should just stop at the first one.
I think it probably depends on the type of series. Personally, I liked Scream 1 and Scream 2, so that was one that they could easily go from one movie to the next and keep the theme of it, but at the same time, some of them are really bad. Like, I'm trying to think of one in particular, Zombieland. I believe it wasn't a movie, but they took it into a series and changed all of the characters but kept the same names.
I heard they did that, but
it was terrible.
Really?
And Thomas is another one that I would classify as the first one was way better than any of the sequels.
Yeah, that was all right.
Well, that's a shame. I really like Zombieland. Well, anyways, Reader's Digest came out with, a list of top scary movies of all time. At number 3, it was The Shining, which scared me as a child. Jack Nicholson was so scary. Number 2, the original Halloween, which is also very scary. And number 1, the original Exorcism. I don't think anyone can disagree with that. What do y'all think about that list that they have?
Solid top 3. Halloween opened the gateways. That was like the really big first slasher movie that got Friday the 13th and all those other guys going. Exorcist, great practical effects, really good, solid story, nice suspense. And the third one, what was it again?
The third one was
The Shining.
The Shining, yes.
A good, suspenseful, scary story.
Absolutely. Those twins, when he's riding the bike, gets me every time. What do you think makes a good scary movie in your personal opinions?
The music.
And then the lack of music too. Like there are sections of the movie that have to have really good build-up suspense, and then to cut the music off right at a suspenseful moment to where the audience can hear themselves breathing and they are in the movie itself. A lot of movies that do that, I think, are the better horror movies because you are actually scaring the audience as well as whoever is scared in the movie.
For sure.
It's all tension. That build and build and build and build until you reach a plateau, and then it's either a really good scare or it's nothing that's even worse.
It keeps you on the edge of your seat, absolutely. Well, let's see what a few commerce students think about their scary movies.
Top 3. Not 3, but basically all of Nightmare on Elm Street's. Love them all. So. Jason, Freddy vs. Jason. I was terrified for 2 weeks straight. Yeah.
That just recently came out.
I am very excited. I'm ready to see it as soon as I can.
Definitely Crimson Peak, 1408, and Mama. Probably the clown. That scared me. Yes, I'm very excited to see it.
Monster House, Hocus Pocus, and The Nightmare Before Christmas. Sure, I haven't really heard about it, but yeah.
The Ghost franchise has really taken off recently, especially with the Paranormal Activity. What do y'all think of that series?
I don't stick with ghost movies. I don't watch a lot of them.
Like, ghost movies I think can be fine, but the whole found footage thing has been done to death by now. And I mean, it was interesting, it had its place, it had its time, and I think it's just overstayed its welcome. We need, like, actual cinematography. Well, better cinematography.
I would personally like to see the rise of the monster movie again, because you don't see a good monster movie in a long time.
Do you have an idea for a film like that?
I would love to see, personally, one of my favorite monster movies was, Anaconda. So I would love to see more of that giant monster type thing come back, but not in a cheesy sci-fi way, because I know sci-fi has done that to death, really, with the giant spider movies and the crossing over stuff, and then the horrible Sharknado movie.
Horrible? What are you talking about?
That movie was terrible.
It's actually kind of funny. To go back to what we were saying about the sound on a scary movie, I used to think that if you turned off the sound in any scary movie, that it wasn't scary anymore. But I didn't think about what you were saying about when there's no music and nothing happens at all, how that kind of is actually way scarier. So how does that affect, the movie itself?
Well, I think a lot of people don't think about what they do in horror movies. Usually when they cut the music, they will use hyper-realistic sound to put you in the place of the protagonist. So you would take the place of such as like Scream, when the music cuts off and you can hear her breathing and you're right there, you hear everything that she hears in a very high sensitive range, like you're there with her. That can affect you because you're seeing it from her point of view, so it's going to make you tense up more. And then also hearing nothing at all is just as scary because you don't know what's going to happen. Your hearing alerts you to what's about to happen. So if you have no sound at all, even watching a scary movie with no sound is going to be scary because it's going to pop out at you. The visual is still there.
Absolutely. God, I love scary movies. Well, thank you all so much for joining us today. That was our show. I hope you join us next time on Studio 122. I'm Chaney Mace.